Okay, so here we have everything we need, and some things have finally arrived, such as this lovely GRX 600, so it's a 10-speed, and it is 1x, it's got a 40T, which is irrelevant, but it's 165, so nice and short, because it's going on the baby's bike. And then we've got these, which I've shown you, the Tiagra shifters. I've got one which is just the right hand shifter for the rear derailleur. This one is both. I'm going to put this one on first, and then we have the derailleur, which I've shown you before. And forget the box, this isn't a Garbrook one, it is actually a Sunrace one, which I took off another bike. And the planes are back, but yeah, this one is an 1142 10-speed, which is more than enough for the duties they're going to be doing. Let's get that closed. And we do have somewhere, which I haven't brought out yet, some bottom brackets, and we're going to need this very large spanner usually to get the bottom brackets out, because they are of the square taper variety, which can be a pain to get out. So let's get on it. Oh, actually, just before we get on it, so this is the bottom bracket. It is the RS500. It is kind of, I can't remember what level it is, sort of Sora or something like that. You can get better ones than the Ultegra level. I did look around at doing that. I was trying to open one-handed. Really won't. Well, you can see those a bit later. This is kind of nice. Let's do a little bit of an unboxing of the GRX. So you get a lovely GRX crank handle, arm, sorry, it's not a handle. But to show you, it looks very good from there. It's obviously hollow cast rather than hollow tube, which is the 800 level, but it will do. It is a very nicely made piece of equipment, and it's probably replacing Apex as my go-to base crank. And for around $100, €100, it comes with everything except the bottom bracket. So this is what happens when you leave a bike outside for too long. Right, so I don't suppose there is any easy way to attack this. We have a rusty bike. I'll show you in a bit of B-roll how rusty that is, but the biggest problem here has always been the front derailleur. They leave it out in the rain, I know, but the rear derailleur generally just keeps working. It's just there, come rain or come shine. This thing, well, there's two problems with 2x. This motion basically sprays all of the rain from here onto here. It comes down into here and into the bottom bracket, which is unavoidable, I suppose, but the rest of it comes down here into the gears, and the spray from this wheel comes up here and into usually the open area here. Absolute carnage. I mean, the gravel and grit that goes into there, the only thing that's ever failed for me on long epic rides has been on mountain bike, on road, on everything, it's front derailleur. And when it fails, it usually chucks the chain down into there. Awful. So we're going one by. Got my gloves. Let's get on it. Okay, so right now I'm coming down here because we need to get these bolts off first. We basically need to work with gravity rather than against it. I don't know who tightens these things up. I'm going to need something bigger. Broken it. That has sheared. Plan B. Right. Ready to get this off? Should have taken that off, but I don't care. I'm not going to loop the chain in because it's obviously that chain's coming off and a 10-speed chain going on. So, we have fresh coffee. You may even be able to see the mist on that coming up. Can we? Can we just? Will that pick up? We don't know. But oh, that's good. Right. So we had this snap, which is probably not, the end of the world, because it's already sheared a bolt on the defender. So yesterday I went out to Halfords and I already had this, which was needed to get the other bolts out, but got myself a 3/4 inch. Guarantee for life if you do live in the UK. Honestly, the Halfords advanced stuff is very, very good. See if we can get this one. Now this should go in the same way. Let's see if we can. Now what's nice about this one, by the way, is that it bends, and so you can get it either out of the way of a chainring, like here, so you don't get you lose the ends of your knuckles. Right, I'm going in. Right, so if this fails, the best way to get the purchase is to have this one side and this the other side, and try. Oh. And push down with all your force. Make sure it's pushed in properly. Let's try again. For the love of God, please, Specialized, Trek, all of you, stop tightening things in the factory like this. I'm going to damage my arm getting this thing off. I've now pushed down with my considerable weight and I can't get this thing off. I'm going to have to use the hammer. Ridiculous. There's an idea. Sometimes I try to tighten it a bit to see if that will loosen it. Lord knows it doesn't need. No, not even budging. got a bit of a maybe we need to do that again. Yes, there we go. Finally. That is nuts. This still needs a bit of encouragement. That's coming off. Wow. Now what's interesting is I can actually see, and I don't know if you can see this, but this thread is actually damaged on the tightening rather than the untightening. So it was put in with an impact gun. Not good. Not good at all. Right. I'll put yesterday's gloves back on, because otherwise not even yesterday's, it was last week. I don't think I've damaged the frame at all. No, because I was holding it on. Make sure if you do that, that you hold the spanner there so it doesn't knock up and damage the frame. And only do that obviously on an alloy bike. I would not do it on a carbon bike. Very clammy already. I might go back to the beautiful ones. Right, so we've got the GRX on. We need to get the crank off. So let's get crank puller. Now, there are a few versions of these crank pullers, but honestly, I mean, I hate these cranks enough to not want to get further versions, but within this tool came a washer, which I don't know where that goes, and this piece. I think the washer's staying here. It's not actually from this. That washer's a pet washer. So we see what type it is. Okay, this is the pointy type, so we don't use the round thing. I'm just going to push it off. I've pushed one of these bolts in there. Just check that's still in straight. Yep. These things are untight. There should be some resistance, but not like mechanical. Not like you're drilling a new hole into metal resistance. Like, now it is resistance, but I can feel it moving and I can see the separation. So we have one arm off. There we go. There's a wonderful bolt. Do the other side. Lift the bolt in. Get this off. The patience we have. Now, you may think, why am I doing this? Why didn't I just take it to the shop? Well, yeah, I had the care to kind of make sure that that spanner didn't hit the frame, but I've seen people in shops obviously not care about someone else's bike. So whilst you may think that my tactics are terrible, believe you me, I've seen much worse. When I was a young boy, I worked in a bike shop for a good few months. So yeah, there are various tools. Some of them just have a different spindle size. So there's a washer in there for the fatter size, which I think are the FSA and SRAM ones. Shimano ones use a slightly thinner one. So we need that bolt. Now we do need more coffee. Now you think that the difficult side is over, but no. We now have to get that. This is a bottom bracket that has the spindle, solid steel spindle that goes through. Now these can be even harder to get off. Now, I don't know if you can see here, I'll come a bit closer. I had 2 of these already, but in my Project Negroni I could not get the bottom bracket off with this one because I couldn't actually get close enough to exert the torque, because this is that wide and literally the bottom bracket thread only comes to there. So you are the best part of an inch off applying the torque. Eventually went to Halford's, amazing store if you live in England, and of course I was able to get that close. Makes a huge difference when you're trying to undo a very difficult bolt. Bring this down. I love this. Trigger pull. Tripod. Right. So hard to get the force to undo these things. Even with a spanner this big. And keep the device in. I'm going to have to use my friend the hammer again. Oh, that's done it. Good, did not need to use the hammer. But did need a spanner the size of, look at all the, I don't know if you can see all the water coming out of there. That is nuts. So one of the reasons I wanted to change this as well is that water gets into this bike, and every time I used to put this bike vertical to get it in and out, water would leak out of here, and on the other side you've got the brake, so it's rusting the brake bolts, which is not really safe. It's basically the water gets trapped in this bottom bracket and then runs down this channel to where your brake bolts are. Steel bolts in an aluminium frame. It's not good. Anyway, go. Unscrew this rather than screw it. Put that on the fake grass. Wow, and you can see water, and a load of rust here. So there is the dreadful old square taper bottom bracket sitting in its own puddle, and there is the mess it's left behind. It's full of rust, and there's a bit of puddle left. See if I can get it to focus on that puddle. Yeah, there's a bit of puddle left, and you can see up in the top left where the chainstay, the right, the non-drive, the non-chain side chainstay goes. That rusty water leaks down, nice. But we're going to change that now by going one by and putting in the proper Holotech bottom brackets and crank. Best upgrade you can probably do to a bike like this, unless, I suppose, the only time I leave square tapers in are, for example, with bikes for very young kids, because they can even put it in seawater and for some reason it still carries on working. With all this rust, of course, but yeah, they're not going to be hurtling down a hill at 70 and needing to make sure that the rear brake hasn't rusted out. Okay, so we're back. I've got myself some good old Shimano lube and got myself the bottom bracket, and this is how installing a bottom bracket should be. Get a good bit of that will stay there. Remove the excess. That won't stay there. And then we get the brackets that have the same grease inside them. You see, these are just the plain. So you kind of got all this fingers gunged up. But what is good is to get that grease and just make sure that it's inserted in the race behind there. If it's smoothened out, you won't get any water, allegedly, getting into the back of the race. And this needs a bit more. May seem a bit over the top, but you just don't want water getting in there. Right, so this is the right hand one. Now, the best part. Oh yes. That's where you do need your rubber hammer. There we go. Clean off any of the excess grease. And you've got a couple of Allen keys here, and a spline surface which allows you to move this in and out without the need of spacers, which is nice. Opposites. Yep. There should be a cap there to pre-tension. Now this, in theory, you've got a little tool that you can put in there to tighten it, but can't find the tool, so you can use an alternative. Just put the nose of this pliers in. You don't want any torque really on this at all. There we go. Now, lots of people will show you pictures of endless turning ceramic speed bearings and other bearings, but what that means is that, I mean, pro mechanics do that because they have somebody stripping down the bike every day and cleaning it, but if you have this free spinning for a long time, certainly in British roads, you can have a creaky bottom bracket quicker than you expect. There we go, it says 12 to 14 Newton meters, but I usually hand torque about 6. Don't need more than that. You do have hands full of grease there. Look at that. It's already looking fantastic. So good. I'm going to have to put some fresh frame protector on there. I'm just going to do a bit of a close-up on this. That already looks a lot better. So all that's needed now is to change the front lever for a Tiagra one. I think I have. I may only just change one of them due to time, or I may change both of them. I have the option, but that's going to be in the next video.